Hello everyone. Welcome back to another exciting After Effects tutorial. Recently, I uploaded an Instagram post of Mobius logo animation, which I created in After Effects. And to create this animation, I used a Mobius animation technique. In this video, I will show you how I created this Mobius logo animation in After Effects. Also, I will show you how you can create a Mobius ring in After Effects without using any plugins. Let's dive into After Effects. Right now we are in After Effects. And if you can see, I already renamed each layer for convenience. Let me show you the composition settings. Alright, let's create the pyramid shape. But before that, I pre-composed the text layers. I gave the name of this comp to text. Then I clicked this icon and clicked OK. After that, simply hide this layer and lock it. Alright, so let's make a new composition. Name it triangle. And set the width size to 500 pixels. The height should also be 500 pixels. Now click on the Shape Builder tool and select the Rectangle tool. Make sure Fill is set to solid. Stroke should be off. Then simply double-click on the Shape Builder icon to make a square shape. Let's change the color of it to black. After that, rename this layer as Base. Then simply deselect it. Once again, go to the Shape Builder tool and this time select the Star tool. Then change its color. Then double-click on the Shape Builder tool icon to make a star. After that, rename this as T1. Then open the Polystar 1 options. Under Polystar Path 1, you will find the points option. Change it to 3. We have a perfect triangle shape in our composition. Then simply close the layer, then right-click and go to Transform. Under Transform, choose Fit to Comp Width. This will perfectly connect the triangle sides to the composition width. After that, select the Pan Behind tool. Then change the anchor point position. Then move this triangle to the bottom. Make sure it's perfectly connected to the bottom. After that, duplicate the T1 layer and change its color. Then rotate this shape to 90 degrees and align it to the left side of the composition. You can use the Align tool to align it perfectly. Now I repeat this process 2 times to make 2 more triangles. Then I align them to the top and right side of this composition. After that, I add a null object to the composition. Make sure the null object is positioned at the center of this composition. Then I select all the layers and make them 3D layers. Then find this camera option and choose Custom View 1 so that you can see how it will look in 3D space. After that, simply select all the triangle shape layers and parent them to the null object. Now open the null object and change the X rotation to -90 degrees. Basically, we need to rotate these shapes so that the front part of the shapes goes upside. Now close this layer and lock it. After that, select the first triangle, open the rotation properties, and change the X rotation to 55 degrees. Then repeat the same thing with the other triangle layers. Only one thing to keep in mind. Rotate the triangle with 55 or -55 degree values, whether it's in the X or Y direction. After that, unlock the null layer and open the rotation properties. Then change the Z rotation value to check the pyramid. Once you're satisfied with the design, reset the Z rotation and change the custom view to active camera. Now you can scale down the pyramid by the null object. Also, you can change the pyramid position and set it to the center of this composition. Animate the pyramid shape. Let's animate the pyramid shape. First, I select the T1 layer and change the color of it to black because our logo icon is black. Then I change the T3 triangle color to yellow to get variation. After that, I select the null object and open the rotation properties. Then I animate the Z rotation of the null object to animate this pyramid shape. Then I select both keyframes and change them to Bezier keyframes. Also, I adjust the graph editor like this. Rotating ring animation. First, go to the Shape Builder tool and choose the Ellipse tool. Make sure Fill is turned off, and Stroke should be on. Now carefully create a horizontal oval shape, and align it to the center. Then rename it as Ring 1 for now. Then I added a trim path to this layer. I animate this line using the start and end values of the trim path. Then I select both keyframes and change them to Bezier keyframes. Our basic structure is ready, but we're not done yet. After that, select all the layers except Ring 1 and pre-compose them. Name this comp triangle rotation. Check this icon and click OK. Then select the Ring 1 layer, go to the Effects panel, and search for Set Matte Effect. Simply drag and drop it on this layer, and change the matte option to Triangle Rotation. Then select the layer and rename it as Ring Front. So this shape is only visible on the pyramid shape. Now duplicate the layer and rename it as Ring Back. After that, go to the Effects panel and click on the Invert Matte option. Now move the time indicator to where the ring is coming from the back. Then select the Ring Front layer and cut this layer at this point. After that, move the time indicator forward and place it where the ring line is going back to the pyramid. Then once again cut this layer at this point. Now check the animation. This way we can create a rotating ring line around this pyramid shape. Pyramid twist animation. First, go back to the main composition. Then select the triangle composition and add it to this composition. Now make a new solid layer. Name this layer Map. Then go to the Effects panel and search for Gradient Ramp Effects. Simply drag and drop it on this map layer. After that, hide this layer and select the triangle layer. Search for an effect called Time Displacement. Simply drag and drop it onto this layer. After that, go to the Effects Control panel and change the displacement map to Map. Then change the source to Effects and Masks. Now if I drag the time indicator, you can see the pyramid start twisting. But now the twist is very high. Also, it's looking pixelated. First, let's fix the heavy twisting. Go to the Effects Control panel. Select the Gradient Ramp effect. Then change the Start Color Point position, as well as the End Color position. Now check the animation. Alright, the animation looks natural. Let's see how to fix this pixelated shape. First, select the triangle composition. Then simply go to the Effects Control panel. And here change the time resolution to around 220%. Or you can go with a higher number. But the preview animation could slow down. That's why I am not increasing this number. And I keep it at 220% to check the smooth animation preview. Let's animate the arrow icon. Alright, now select the icon and reduce the opacity of it. After that, lock this layer. Then I select the triangle layer, then cut this layer where the animation is finished. After that, I lock the triangle layer. Then I select the pen tool and simply draw a triangle. Just make sure that triangle perfectly matches the first triangle. After that, I cut this layer at this point. Then I rename the layers as T icon. Let me change the color label so we can see it better. Also, I extend the timeline. Then I select the pan behind tool. I just drag this anchor point to the bottom of this shape. Now I open the transform properties of this layer and add a keyframe on rotation, scale, and position values. Then I add a basic arrow movement. But the main thing is I use an original arrow as a guide to maintain perfection. Now pay attention at this point. First, select the layer, go to the Effects panel, and search for the CC Bended effect. Then apply it to this layer. Then I set the start and end point manually. After that, I use the bend value to bend this arrow. But I have an issue rotating this arrow. To fix this issue, I need to use an expression. I simply hold Alt on the keyboard and click on this icon to open the script panel. I write a simple expression called toCompValue. Then click anywhere to apply. After that, I did the same for the endpoint. After that, select the effects, find the points, and reposition it. Now you can see the problem is fixed. Then I animate this arrow by using the CC Bended effect. After that, I select all the keyframes and change them to Bezier keyframes. First, I select the pen tool and create a rough line. After that, I adjust it manually according to the arrow movements. Afterward, I cut this layer to this point. Then, I rename this layer as line. After that, I add a trim path. I use the trim path properties to animate this line. Check the animation. Triangle animation adjustment. I just forgot to add a starting animation for the triangle. So, I select the triangle layer. Then, open the scale properties and animate the triangle using scale properties. Text animation. Let's animate the text quickly. First, I hide the original icon layer, then I turn on the visibility of the text layer. Then, go to the text composition. After that, select all layers and animate them using transform properties like position and opacity values. Then, I rearrange the layers like this. I go back to the main comp, move the text layer, and match the arrow animation. Smear frames animation. We are moving to the next level of detailing steps called smear frames. In 2D animation, smear frames or motion blur frames are used to create the illusion of fast movement. These frames often show a distorted or stretched version of the character or object, almost like an echo or streak following the motion. This gives viewers a smoother sense of speed and direction. To create this effect, first I select the arrow layer called T icon. Then, I duplicate the layer and name it T icon echo. After that, I search for an effect called echo. Simply apply it to this layer and place it below the T icon layer. Also, I changed the color like this to differentiate. You can see there is a gap between these 2 points. I go to the Effects Control panel and change the number of echoes to 9. And echo time to around -0.005. Then, I change the echo operator to maximum. After that, once again I go to the Effects panel and search for the noise effect. Then, I simply apply it to this layer. After that, I change the noise to around 40%. I repeat this process with the text layer as well. Only one thing changed. I duplicate this layer twice. Then, I move it forward slightly and add a fill effect to change the color of this composition. Check the final preview. Nice. That's how I animate this logo in After Effects. But wait, the video isn't finished yet. I have a bonus animation for you. Let's see how I make this Mobius ring animation. Just like the pyramid, I created this rotating rectangular shape. Now the process is the same, but with only a few changes. Alright, so first I pre-composed all the layers. Name it box rotation. After that, I make a new solid layer. Name it ramp, and click OK. Then, simply apply gradient ramp to this solid layer. Pay attention to this point. For preview animation, I used vertical gradient, and now we need to make it horizontal. So, I simply select the gradient start point and place it to the left, and the other one to the right. Then, I also change the position of the end point to change the look. After that, turn off the ramp layer. Then, select the box layer and apply the time displacement effect to this layer. Go to the Effects Control panel and change the time displacement layer to ramp. Then, change source to effects and masks. Also, increase the time resolution value to reduce the pixelated effect. Check the animation. Nice, the animation looks good. After that, select all the layers and pre-compose them. Name it box animation. Then, change the composition width and height. After that, go to the Effects panel and search for the Polar Coordinates effect. Simply apply it to this layer, and change type of conversion to react to polar. Then, increase the interpolation value to 100%, and see the magic. Let me increase the size. Also, I click this icon called Collapse Transformation button. Right now it looks a little different from here. To fix this problem, first I lock this composition. Then, I open the box animation composition and change the max displacement value slightly. And the problem is fixed. That's how I animate this Mobius ring in After Effects. I hope you learned something new today. If you like my content, do support me by the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.